Hello, Surpass Online subscribers, and today we're going to create a video on how partnerships create value. And this particular information came from a website for the United Nations Department of Human Social Affairs Learning Library. So we're going to watch a video. Play this one.
Partner, because by working
Okay.
In this video, we're going to look at how partnerships can create value. We partner because by working together, we are able to deliver something we couldn't achieve alone. 1 + 1 is greater than 2. However, the reality is that too often partnerships simply don't create enough value compared to the amount of time and effort required. It's therefore critical to be quite clear about the value we're aiming to create when we partner, and to work with partners to try to collectively maximize value for all. Take a look at the spectrum of partnership types. When it comes to the more transactional partnerships, leverage exchange, it's pretty clear. We partner because our organization gains resources or knowledge or positioning that allows us to be able to deliver more. Of course, we need to make sure that all parties gain, that it is win-win. And on the other end of the spectrum, the system transformational partnerships, it's also clear. We partner because if we are going to change whole systems, we need to bring to bear all the levers that different societal sectors can bring to the table. When it comes to the combined integrate partnerships, which may be bilateral or have multiple partners, we see there are a wide range of what we call collaborative advantages, the intrinsic reasons partnerships can create value and deliver more than the sum of their parts. We have identified 10 key collaborative advantages, and any one partnership might deliver on several of these. The first is complementarity. Partnerships bring together resources of different kinds which, like jigsaw pieces coming together to create a puzzle, can form solutions impossible with a single organization or a single sector's resources. A second important one for the UN is holism. Bringing together organizations and ministries with different mandates can cut across interconnected SDGs to deliver more holistic and sustainable solutions. For example, working on the nexus of agriculture, health, and nutrition. The third example is synergy. Creating efficiencies through coordinated action, sharing common resources, achieving economies of scale, and even creating common financial funds. These are just 3 potential collaborative advantages. When you're in the process of developing a partnership, it can be highly beneficial to systematically work through the full list with the partners in order to identify all the ways to maximize the value any potential partnership can create.
Okay, then we also have another audio here. You can also play this.
This partnership insight is an extract from a podcast produced by our great friends at Business Fights Poverty. You can hear the original conversation between Katie Hyson and Payal Dalal by searching for Business Fights Poverty wherever you get your podcasts from. An effective partnership can be seen as a creative combination of resources towards a shared goal. The word resources in this sentence is a crucial one. Often we hear the word resource and immediately think of money. And obviously money is a fundamentally important resource. But what if it's the least interesting one? What if we expand the definition of the word resource to include things like expertise, data, and credibility? Or how about relationships, networks, and alliances? What if we imagine that resources include things like an organisation's moral authority, its credibility or its independence, and so on? Here is Payal Dalal, Senior Vice President for Social Impact in International Markets at the MasterCard Centre for Inclusive Growth, talking about the different resources that a corporate foundation can bring to a partnership.
We want to do philanthropy a little bit differently. For us, it's not just writing a check. While financial support is an important asset, it's not the only asset. We want to think about how we can leverage things like our own technology or our human capital or our network of relationships and stakeholders and be creative about what we can bring to the table.
So that's the theory, but what does this look like in practice? MasterCard is engaged in a whole series of partnerships underpinned by this creative definition of resources. Let's hear from Payal again to give just one example, which is a partnership with the NGO Care USA to increase access to finance for women entrepreneurs.
The partnership with Care USA, we feel very strongly that women and women entrepreneurs play a hugely critical role in economic development, but oftentimes women entrepreneurs are the ones that lack the most access to capital and to capability and to opportunity. They simply don't have the same opportunities as their male counterparts. So what we're working with Care USA on is trying to unlock some of those inherent biases. We're focused on 3 markets, which will give us a good cross-selection of kind of understanding and learning. So we're looking at Peru, Vietnam, and Pakistan, and we're going to be working with financial service providers in those markets to create new products for women entrepreneurs or to take existing products and actually tailor them so they better suit the needs for women entrepreneurs. Because you can imagine that women entrepreneurs in many instances have different needs and different circumstances than male entrepreneurs. Depending on the regulation of a country, women might not be eligible to have land in their names, right? It could only be that the title is supposed to be for men, which means that it may not have collateral, or they might have alternative forms of collateral. So we have to think about the different dynamics that are at play in different cultural contexts and think about how we actually tailor our products and tailor those products for women. And so we're not only working with financial service providers to make sure that the market actually has products that are suitable for women's needs, but we're also working with a various number of partners on the ground to start building that capacity and that capability, because not everyone recognizes that they could use growth capital and how you would use growth capital and how to navigate and how to actually use this to smooth cash flow, et cetera. And so we're really trying to pair together that access to capital with that access to capability.
The resources go way beyond just writing a check. It's about MasterCard bringing in its core business know-how, blending that with the gender equality and economic empowerment expertise of Care USA to produce outcomes that neither could achieve if they were acting alone. And in this case, the outcomes are tools, training, education, products and services in order to help nearly 4 million micro and small businesses across 3 countries to formalise and to grow.
Ayun. So after watching the video and hearing the audio, we're gonna have the readings here. Given the time, challenges, and transaction costs involved in partnering, the primary driver for working through MSPs must be that by combining the resources creatively, organizations can deliver far more than is possible alone. Additionally, every partnership must create net value for each partner, otherwise there is no incentive for their continued involvement. In order for partnerships to be a success, it is essential that all partners focus regularly on the question of how partnership is creating value. In business terms, this would be called the cost-benefit analysis, and it would be expressed in purely financial terms. In partnership terms, it is necessary to go beyond purely financial considerations and think about the multiple forms of value. So this diagram summarizes partnership value creation. As you can see here, the government, the business, the NGOs, civil society, and development agencies have a collaborative advantage. We have single actor outcomes plus partnership delta equals this one. So value add of partnership as a whole. We define 2 concepts for consideration in their partnership design. One is collaborative advantage. The collaborative advantage can be thought of as extra processing power that partnership brings as a result of combining diverse resources in creative ways, going way beyond what an additional organization operating alone might achieve. It is different for every partnership, but there are several common types of collaborative advantage, including sharing risk, accelerating knowledge exchange, expanding reach, encouraging organizational growth, fostering innovation, building collective legitimacy, or creating critical mass on an issue. The partnership delta or partnership difference. The partnership delta or partnership difference is the additional, specific, extra outcomes or impact that a partnership delivers compared with single actor approaches as a result of the collaborative advantage. Examples include developing and disseminating norms, standards and policies to raise standards, create a level playing field across a whole sector, enabling ongoing impact, raising the level of knowledge, expertise, and capacity widely, leading to more effective practice and greater impact, increasing efficiency or effectiveness of delivery of similar proven approaches by joining forces, strengthening policy, contributing to better governance or more inclusive markets. Benefits, value created for each individual partner. Number one, mission value, direct or indirect achievement of strategic objectives. For an NGO, this would include delivery of specific programmatic or advocacy objectives with direct or indirect impact on intended beneficiaries. For a company, it might be gaining commercial value through new business opportunities or to ensure the sustainability of a supply chain. Number two, organizational gain, levering resources. Resource gains can include financial gains in the form of funding or cost savings that can be made, for example, through sharing services. Organizations might also receive non-financial material gains, such as in-kind combinations of goods, services, or volunteers. Indirect and intangible gains. Organizations may also enter partnerships to achieve a number of non-tangible benefits. This might include, for example, social or political capital, networking and connections, increased legitimacy, reputational benefits, influence and positioning, knowledge and capacity building, innovation and thinking, and employee morale and retention. In order to ensure net benefit, each partner must also assess on an ongoing basis the cost of their involvement, including the full cost of staff time, in-kind contribution, and others, and financial contribution. So we have here partnership insight, in which we're going to click this one, no? So you can maximize this, then click this one. So partnerships for innovation and access to basic services, 5 case studies. So beyond the MDGs, the time limit for achieving the Millennium Development Goals is 2015. Results have been unequal. Efforts are needed to ensure delivery of basic services to the last mile of the population. So in Latin America, 80% of the population live in urban areas, 40% of the population are vulnerable and earn $4 to $10 a day. 125 million people lack access to health services, 30 million people without access to safe drinking water, 100 million people without improved sanitation, and 40 million lack modern electricity services. So these are the initiatives that prove that the provision of basic services can reach the last mile of the population in a sustainable manner. So as you can see here on the picture, so this is a very remote area, I guess. It's a mountain, and there's no, you cannot see a maybe an electricity here, a wire, but you can see here this one. This is a solar panel, and light. They can now produce electricity for the light of their homes and for other purposes now. So this is the project, partnerships for innovation and access to basic services. So research carried out for the Multilateral Investment Fund, Inter-American Development Bank, by the Innovation and Technology for Development Center, Technical University of Madrid, in collaboration with BPD, ES, and ONGAWA. So there are many uh, partners involved in this particular project now. 5 case studies that showcase partnership-based models that have successfully expanded access to basic services for marginalized populations and groups. Ito na yung sinasabing mga laylayan, no? Nasa laylayan ng mga tao o grupo. So this is the methodology. Selection of the 5 studies. So criteria such as geographical and sectoral diversity, length of time in operation, actors, innovations, and results to date. Then they have the multidisciplinary team of 5 senior consultants, 1 for each study. Initial research of documentation on each service model. Field work, meaning you have interviews, meetings, and focus groups. Then consideration of the 5 studies and production of infographics. Careful revision by the promoters of each model. And final publication. Summary of the case studies and overarching conclusions. So that's emphasis on innovation. These are the case studies. We have inclusive sanitation markets, water for people, e-health in rural areas, Tula Salud, access to water and e-sanitation, EDAC Queenie, closed-end CASA, sustainable energy, and comprehensive solid waste management. So publications, of the publications there. Dry ecological toilet as a market opportunity. So then you also have teletraining plus telemedicine plus health promotion, e-health in rural areas. And you can see here a person is carried the back. Then solar home systems by a pay for service model. So inclusive businesses plus social inclusion of recyclers plus environmental impact. Waste management now. Then we have public sector promoted multi-stakeholder partnerships based on incentives. So these are a kind of innovation, product, process, position, and paradigm. So for the product, do it more appropriately, blending existing technologies. So you have the battery here connected to fans and everything. So for product form part of programs or solutions, but the focus is always on more than just the product. So local personal use cell phones, portable ultrasounds, and video conferencing to provide services in remote rural areas. Then the transport of waste in motor organs reduces time and assists the work of recyclers. This one. The final product goes beyond provisions of basic need by incorporating user demands. Siguro yun. Then 89.9% of the population of District 9 want a toilet, sink, and shower in their bathroom. These 3 elements have been integrated in the dry ecological toilets. The quality of the product or service goes hand in hand with maintenance, capacity building of local personnel, and ongoing research. So solar home systems, 7 days, average time for addressing problems in 2013, 0.28% payment default rate sa 2013. So process, innovations in the way that services are created and delivered. So adapting flexible collaborative processes, knowing the context and local dynamics, not designing from an office, going to the community, identifying and mobilizing local capacities, working with existing local organizations and systems. So they already have their local organization, so you just simply tap that particular organization. Then in 2011, Water for People, in collaboration with the company Casa del Ceramista, reduced the price of dry ecological toilet by 34%. Users are trained in the use of solar home systems and local technicians in their installation and maintenance. So, tinitraining yung mga users. So, the services are centered in the user, social marketing, and simplicity of use. Leadership of individuals or organizations that connect to the local with the global, rotate cosmopolitans. So, accepting and learning from mistakes, that's normal, no? Mistakes are normal, they are inevitable. Focusing on continuous learning, networking in the short term, flexibility to integrate changes. Short term, we have teleconsultation, midterm teletraining, and long-term programs, health promotion among the young, ensure that important changes are made in rural health services. Changes in the way services are presented to the user and reframe with government's disposition. Users assume an active role in the service chain. Services are adapted to the needs of the user. Community participation is promoted through photovoltaic electrification committees. So na sila be created. That's why this is part of promotion. No? Understanding the diversity of last mile communities and working with diverse collectives to address their specific needs. And the toilets have brought big changes to women's lives. Before they used to have to go to the toilet in the neighboring cane field, where they were sometimes attacked or even raped, according to Tandy Sukasi. Then working closely with the public sector to advocate for regulation of the service and the integration of changes within the system. So, as you can see there. So this is now an option, no? The Ministry of Energy and Mines in Peru has certified the solar home systems an option for rural electrification. So there are alternative sources of finance, changes in the mental models that shape what the service offers. That's a paradigm. The aim is to support processes that change the vision. They do it, we do it together, and then you do it. I do it, we do it together, and then you do it. According to Paloma Roman, support processes that change the vision. I do it, we do it together, and then you do it. Your concept. Producing changes in the perceptions and attitudes of all the participating actors. Paradigm is very important also. Centering on a comprehensive vision of the service while innovating at any part of the value chain, not just at the end. So that's a cycle. Managing to attract a mix of different resources from the public and private sectors as well as civil society. Introducing lasting changes in the institutional practices within the organizations, particularly in the public sector. By the end of 2013, the community telefacilitators were integrated in the public health system in Guatemala. So it's increasing now. So what kind of innovation? So if for product, do it more appropriately. Process, do it more simply. Position, do it together. Paradigm, do it differently. This is something very important to know. For product, do it more appropriately. For process, do it more simply. For position, do it together. For paradigm, do it differently. Other 4P at the DOP have passion, pilots, perseverance, and partnering. So, conclusions, encompassing the whole value chain, new forms of working in partnership, adapting flexible models, assigning a new role to users, exploring, experimenting, learning, generating inclusive businesses and social entrepreneurship, institutionalizing the models, reflections, islands of change to systemic change, applicability to re-applicability, making mistakes to learning, beneficiaries to users, oriented projects to oriented services. These are the challenges at the start: finding change agents in place, counting on capital and resources to enable experimentation, positioning the initiative on the map. We have consolidation, addressing large increases in demand, dealing with organizational challenges, attracting expert knowledge and specific resources for maturity and scale up. We have sharing the knowledge generated, ensuring decentralization, and lastly, promoting adequate strategies for expansion. How can our institution support this kind of initiative? So, I guess for our university, um, we have our research, we have our extension, we also have our production and the instruction. All of these services we offer here in our university can really help uh, in achieving the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals. Hopefully, in the near in our next activities, we could come up with different partners that could help us in our goals. So this is the publication. This is the presentation, the one that I'm reading to you. So that's it. And after that, the slide deck, reading of slide deck, we're already done with this particular video. I hope you learned something about our topic, how partnerships create value. Always remember, learning is a lifetime. Bye.